This is On Track, talkSPORT's weekly motorsport show, which you can get on the talkSPORT podcast network. You can hear premiering every Tuesday afternoon on talkSPORT 2 and throughout the week on talkSPORT 2, and also on the talkSPORT Driving YouTube channel where you can watch selected bits and bobs. This week, I'm here with Jake Dennis from Andretti Formula E team. We're sat here on South Beach, Miami. We're here for the Evo Sessions, and this is something new that Formula E are doing. There was originally going to be a to-be-confirmed race, which we know was going to be in Thailand. That didn't happen. Jeff Dodds, the man behind everything at Formula E at the moment, had this brainwave apparently in the shower. Did you hear this?
I did not hear this.
Apparently this brainwave came to him in the shower that he's going to do this influencer type event. And this is kind of why we're here now and what it's manifested itself into. We've got people like Brooklyn Beckham and Sergio Agüero and many kind of like, supercar blondie, people from all kinds of different worlds, and some of them cross over into motorsport, some of them are completely separate, like Brooklyn Beckham's got a hot sauce company, hot sauce entrepreneur. But
he likes cooking, right? He's
he loves cooking.
He's got his own book. Has he got his own book as well?
Probably.
I think he might have his own book.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly found his own thing at least.
Right.
But obviously we're here and we're going to be bringing you loads from behind the scenes on talkSPORT, both online on the website, on radio and also on YouTube. The premise of it is famous influencers with a huge following are being put through their paces to see if they can basically do what you do for a living. Start with, are you worried at all?
Am I worried? No, not really. Thankfully, it's not my car. So it's
Nico's car.
It's Nico's car.
Right, okay.
But ultimately, I think they'll be fine. I honestly think there's an element of like a fear factor which comes in when you drive these cars in real life. Obviously, they've done all the simulator work. They've spent many of hours prepping for this event, so it's not like they don't know the procedures now. But simulator is one thing. Many crashes on the simulator are always bound to happen because you don't have that fear factor, and that's the same for anything. It's the same for like when you do I did the F1 test. I can drive around on the Red Bull simulator all day, every day, and then you put me in the real car. It's obviously that fear factor always naturally kicks in. And it's going to be the same for them. I think they're really going to jump in these cars and feel that acceleration. And that will naturally make them, not always go full throttle on the straights, naturally put the throttle down a little bit slower. So I think they'll just gradually blend into it more and more. They don't have a bundles amount of time, they are limited, but ultimately I think it's a great experience for them. They've also got a big following. Especially someone like Agüero, who clearly has quite a passionate following for motorsport. You go on his Instagram, you can see he does track days all of the time. He was linked with Red Bull, doing a lot of simulator work with these guys for a little bit. So I think there's some guys out there which really are excited to do this. And very keen to showcase what the Formula E cars can do and how difficult they are to drive. They're not easy, and it's going to be an experience for everyone. And hopefully no one obviously gets injured, and we can...
Well, I'm sure they won't.
We'll see how it goes from there.
It's interesting to see that these people have been chosen from all different areas. So Agüero, obviously, a really successful footballer.
Was he? Never heard of him.
Done pretty well. Pretty well for that team. But obviously, as you say, he's got an interest. There's also Cleo Abraham, who's working with McLaren, and she is someone who has this huge following explaining like tech stuff. I watched her explaining black holes and how they work the other day, and she has this really good way of telling you facts without sounding patronizing, but also not skimping on detail. So you feel like you've learned something. So I'm actually interested to see what she will be doing. We've got Tom Felton, obviously from Harry Potter. He's well into it with Envision. Looks like he's having a good time. And then Brooklyn Beckham, the entrepreneur with Jaguar, and he looks like he's having a fantastic time as well. When it comes to your guy Amar from Yes Theory, I mean, we've seen so many pictures and videos so far of him in the sim there. I think it was one with Nico, and he is, having the time of his life, which I think is important because when you're kind of getting off to a new audience, you need your kind of person you follow to enjoy it. It doesn't put looking like it's stressful or anything like that. I know it probably is incredibly stressful, but it just looks like he's throwing himself into it, which is, I guess, what you want as a driver with no fear. I mean, as you say, until you get in that car.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's really embraced the challenge of coming in. He's done a lot of laps on the simulator with Nico now. He's done a lot of preparation over 2 days and well over 180 laps. So I think he's the best prepared he possibly can be. He now knows the track, knows which way it goes, and generally understands most of the basic systems, what you need to be able to drive the car. So yes, I think they all have been thrown in at the deep end. They haven't had a abundant amount of time to to really understand the thorough details, but enough to be able to drive these cars and see how they get on against obviously the pros, you could call us. So yeah, I'm excited. They're all on track alone, so they don't have to worry about anyone being in their mirrors or anything like that. It's very much just themselves and building myself up to their eventual lap time of whatever they achieve.
Are you going to be in his ear? Is that your role?
I hope not. I hope not. I'm not in his ear. I'd be too worried.
Right. Okay.
But
you'd be pushing it too hard.
I'm not a good passenger by any means, so I probably won't be a good engineer.
But you're not getting in the car at all? No?
We do like a 10-minute sort of warm-up on the first day, just to sort of sanity check the car and make sure everything's fully ready to go. So yeah, it's definitely more about them and letting them sort of get up to speed and enjoy the process. And yeah, hopefully they all come out with a big smile on their faces and promote what Formula E is all about. That's obviously ultimately one of the biggest things for us, was to really try and promote how cool these cars are, what they're capable of. And yeah, I think they're all going to be in for a great couple of days.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating to see. What's the one bit of advice you'll be giving your guy just before he gets in the car? Like, as you say, the fear factor doesn't quite hit you until you're in that car, knowing that you could cause some damage to a very expensive car and let a lot of people down.
I mean, first one, don't crash it, but
it's not your car though, so you're
not my car. But
not having that home team.
I would just say, like, to really try and enjoy the process. You know, it's obviously going to be a lot of pressure and nerves for them, because they know what's obviously at stake. But ultimately, it's something which it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. They're never really going to get the chance to drive a Formula E car ever again, unlikely. So I think, yeah, to try and enjoy it, learn as much as they possibly can, and yeah, get some advice from obviously the guys which drive these cars all the time, and yeah, enjoy the experience.
I am looking forward to seeing how they get on. Obviously, Formula E are trying to appeal to a whole raft of new fans, and maybe not just here in the United States. What have you made of how the United States has embraced Formula E? Because, you know, I've just been over, you know, we heard from your mate earlier on the show, Toby Sowery, who's there in IndyCar, and that is kind of completely opposite of Formula E. It's huge engines, it's gas guzzling cars with huge big slick tyres and, you know, just full on the whole time, whereas Formula E is pushing the boundaries of technology but also sustainability, and, you know, having to, there's great tunes going on there. That's what you get in Miami. But, you know, Formula E's message is completely different, but also the style of racing is different, and obviously Americans, I think, maybe take a little while to come around to it. Yeah,
I think so. You know, I think the Americans are very much like old school in terms of, like, they love hearing like V8s or V12s, like proper hot rod engines. IndyCar is obviously still quite old school. Like you say, big engine, slick tires, whereas Formula E is definitely sort of kind of the opposite in terms of the technology boundaries, what we push. But to be honest, it has grown over the past like certain years of Formula E, the American market. And yeah, I mean, racing in places like Portland, New York, and now coming to Homestead in Miami, it just shows that we're evolving more and more. Ultimately, I'd like to do more races in America. I think it's great to get that exposure, especially since the Drive to Survive series came out in the Formula One. You know, the American motorsport market massively grew, and we definitely got a kickback off that as well, which you could clearly see. So I think it's always evolving. I mean, the cars are only going to get faster for us. You know, the talks of what's happening with Gen 4 is seriously impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that car's going to be like. But yeah, ultimately, I think, yeah, the American fans and just people in general are starting to accept Formula E of what it's for. You know, we're not here to make amazing sounds or, you know, produce the fastest thing on earth. It's very much like, this is what we're capable of in terms of sustainability, how good the technology is in terms of these batteries and software now, and it's only moving in the right direction. Well,
look, in a store I saw at a mall here in Miami, there are Formula E like bits of merchandise. Unfortunately, not the one you're wearing here. There's unfortunately a Tag Heuer Porsche one, which I guess in a way you can be happy with, given that that's your powertrain. That was on sale in like the F1 shop here in Miami. Nice. And then at IndyCar there was again a Porsche and an Andretti Formula E top that we saw. So, you know, people are getting the message there, and it's great that everyone's embracing it. And we'll look forward to seeing and hearing more about the Evo Sessions this week. We'll see how your guy gets on. Are they going to be ranked, do you think? And like who's fastest? Surely.
I'd imagine so. I want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to come out on top, and I don't know who my money would be on. I guess I'll back my guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think there will be some big variances for sure. But ultimately, I think it'll be nice to know who the winner is.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. Well, that's the Evo Sessions, of course, across the talkSPORT website, online, and here on the talkSPORT Driving YouTube channel, and also on Track next week we're going to do a full roundup as well, so keep an eye out for that.
Everything is changing all the time, always. Welcome to the Formula E Evo Sessions! Coming this March in Miami with 11 of the world's biggest personalities, racing at the edge of possible. The tech, the speed, together on track with the Gen 3 Evo, experiencing the true speed of change. Let's go.